Kia ora, g'day, welcome back once again, everybody. Here with another reaction, this time to Master Sergeant John Chapman, USAF, US Air Force. Anyway, let's jump in.
Chapman, a U.S. Air Force combat controller, and the SEALs are attempting to rescue their lost teammate. You'll watch Chapman's heroic actions as he saves the lives of his entire SEAL team and then another 18 members of a quick reaction force, earning America's highest award, the Medal of Honor.
And I just want to go back to see what that capture meant. It said first ever Medal of Honor. I don't think it would be the first ever Medal of Honor. The first ever Medal of Honor to be recorded in the act. Video captured by a CIA Predator drone. Okay. I'll read out some of the information at the end and the person that sent me this link as well at the end of the video.
As he saves the lives of his entire SEAL team and then another 18 members of a quick reaction force, earning America's highest award, the Medal of Honor. Chapman and the SEALs exfil their MH-47 helicopter. John is the second individual to exit and immediately moves in the direction of the summit. He can be seen moving off to the right of the screen, alone. The team is taking heavy fire from every direction, as indicated by the arrows, as Chapman begins engaging targets.
Holy heck, man, he's isolated right from the jump in terms of being like that distance between him and the rest of the team, six-man team.
You can see spent cartridges ejecting from his M4. Chapman then begins closing with the enemy, forcing his way upslope in knee and thigh-deep snow. He is constantly under fire as he does this. Chapman's team leader begins to close on Chapman, following his trail through the snow. The dark mass above Chapman is a fortified bunker containing two enemy fighters, each armed with AK-47s, who are firing down on the team in the darkness. This bunker will come to be known as Bunker Number 1. To the left of the tree and Bunker 1 is another gray mass. This is a rock outcropping that came to be called the Boulder. Between Bunker 1 and this boulder can be seen the body of slain SEAL Neil Roberts, the man Chapman and the others are attempting to recover.
Wow. Okay, so they're going in. What's the story with Neil Roberts? Was he part of another patrol that got hit and they weren't able to extract him or get him out? So now Master Sergeant John Chapman and this team have been inserted to try to recover the body? I'm not sure. Yeah, anyway.
Chapman, still alone and closest to the enemy, pauses to engage targets as his team leader follows him, but never actually catches up with him. Chapman, on his own, now makes the decision to charge directly into the enemy bunker, despite withering point-blank fire. Chapman, now literally on top of the enemy, engages the two combatants and kills them, saving the lives of the remaining SEALs. He does this from a distance of no more than 10 feet. These actions, by themselves, earned him his first Medal of Honor. He then climbs into and...
First Medal of Honor. So has he been awarded two? I haven't had a look in terms of research on Master Sergeant John Chapman. Two Medal of Honors. Is that two in this same contact, or is there another event where he's awarded a second Medal of Honor? Man, unreal so far. Anyway, just like it's deceptive. In terms of that type of terrain, we heard the narrator talking about he's making his way up that feature towards that first bunker in knee or thigh deep snow, I think is what he mentioned. Far out. Not only the fitness, but the mindset and the aggression, the attitude that you have to push through that, to wade through that, to lift your legs and move whilst they're taking all this heavy enemy fire from all these different directions, is what it said at the start. Crazy. And how by him taking out this first gun pit or bunker, it's, made it safer for the rest of the team. They're pretty spread out. As I look at the images and stuff here, the team leaders tried to catch up to Master Sergeant John Chapman, but didn't quite get there. And but he's still hot on his heels, which is good.
And takes control of the bunker. Having cleared the immediate threat, Chapman is then joined by his team leader in Bunker 1. You can then see Chapman and his team leader engaging the next bunker, known as Bunker 2, which is situated to the left edge of the screen. This bunker, manned by a handful of Chechen and Uzbek fighters, also contains a heavy PKM machine gun, hand grenades, and rocket-propelled grenades. John Chapman is shot twice at this time in the torso and collapses, incapacitated. You are now looking at a new angle, and at the left of the screen can be seen the two-man fire team and team leader on top of the boulder. Just below it is Bunker 1 with the mortally wounded Chapman. One SEAL can be seen firing his modified M60 machine gun from the hip into Bunker 2 on the right side of the screen until he is struck by grenade shrapnel and tumbles 10 feet off the top of the boulder, collapsing at the feet of his team leader, thus setting off a chain of events that would lead to the SEALs abandoning Chapman on the summit. The wounded SEAL and the team leader can be seen conferring about his injuries. Moments later, the SEALs decide to retreat from the summit because their position is untenable in the face of continued massive enemy firepower. They can be seen moving toward the right side of the screen and passing the body of Neil Roberts. Unfortunately, the SEALs do not pass John Chapman, who is above them and inside Bunker 1. This angle shows 3 SEALs in a triangle. The larger black heat signature is a smoke grenade. Just to its left is a donkey and dead Al-Qaeda fighter killed by Chapman. The steepness of the mountain can be seen as the SEALs begin to slide down the near sheer face. The team leader, desperate for relief and now with 2 wounded teammates, asks for uncontrolled airstrikes from an orbiting Air Force AC-130 gunship. The impacts you see are from 105mm howitzer rounds being fired onto the ridgetop in order to save the remaining SEALs. Because neither the SEALs nor gunship know Chapman is alive, he is experiencing these detonations from his position. At approximately 5:20 in the morning, Chapman recovers and begins to engage the enemy. Bunker 1 is on the right side center of...
They say 5:20 in the morning? Sorry, I missed the timing of when they went in. 5:20 in the morning. I don't know how much time has elapsed or what time they originally went in. But yeah, because I did hear the commentator say that John Chapman was shot twice in the torso. I think they said mortally wounded, must have been down and out. And now he's, either woken back up or whatever, but now they're saying that he's back in the fight. But his team is... of the screen, and Bunker 2 to the left near the screen center. It will never be known what caused his incapacitation and recovery. Of the 2 rounds that originally wounded him, at least 1 was mortal, and at this time he is experiencing severe blood loss and shock. Despite that, he begins his one-man stand against 24 enemy combatants. During this time, Chapman initiates a series of radio calls, many of which are heard by a fellow combat controller and teammate of his and Delta Force operators on a nearby summit. Despite this combat controller's replies, Chapman never acknowledges whether because of damage to his equipment or himself will never be known. This new angle and footage shows Chapman at the top, identified by the green dot under the tree at Bunker 1. The lower center of the screen shows the first enemy fighter who is about to charge Chapman in the hopes of killing the American.
The timestamp at the bottom shows it is now 6:05 in the morning and fully light. He's been fighting alone now for 40 plus minutes and has received more gunshot and shrapnel wounds as a result of the fierce combat. This scene shows the second of several enemy charges. In this stunning display of determination and courage, Chapman can be seen fighting hand to hand with the fighter. In the larger screen display can be seen additional enemy moving on to the summit. But right now, John Chapman is fighting for his life. 6 minutes later, in this new shot, Chapman can hear another helicopter approaching the summit. He is in the bottom center of the screen underneath the tree and can be seen in the magnified inset box as he begins his desperate final stand to save the lives of the 18 men on the helicopter.
Just going to pause there. Great, there's another chopper coming in. His actions alone have helped taking out that first bunker, saved the lives of his other 5-man team. I don't know if they got the seal that they went in to try to get in the first place out. I don't know if his other team members did. Apologies if I missed that. This is unreal. There's been at least 2 enemy soldiers who have thought, okay, we're going to go and take on Master Sergeant John Chapman and try to end him. And sounds like that didn't work out very well for them. And instead, he took them out because he's still in the fight. And now there's another chopper coming in here. There's so much in this. I'm just trying to let it flow as much as I can. Apologies for interjecting where I have. I think I'm more sort of doing this to try to keep some information in my head so that I can give a bit more of a reaction at the end. So I'll carry on with this.
The red dots are enemy fighters. John begins engaging the enemy in multiple directions and is rapidly approaching the last of his ammunition. The helicopter contains a quick reaction force comprised of Rangers, pararescuemen, and another combat controller. It is now 6:13 and the helicopter is short final. The enemy is desperately trying to displace Chapman so they can put heavy weapons or rocket-propelled grenades in Bunker 1 while simultaneously engaging the helicopter. With the choice to save his life or the lives of his unknown comrades, Chapman makes the decision to climb out of the bunker and begin firing in multiple directions as can be seen in the inset. Suffering from as many as a dozen wounds, Chapman is in fact already in the process of dying. As he fights, the helicopter is struck by a rocket-propelled grenade and makes a remarkable controlled crash just below Chapman and the summit. Chapman, now off-screen, continues to cover his comrades as they pour out of the stricken helicopter. Some of them are fatally shot as they exit. These images, with Chapman fighting the enemy at close quarter, are the last to show him alive and in this heroic act, thus qualifying for his second Medal of Honor. Ultimately, Chapman would expend all but the last few rounds of his ammunition, until, finally, after 16 bullet and shrapnel wounds, Chapman succumbs when he is shot through the heart. We will never know his final thoughts or words, but what we do know is his decisions and actions single-handedly saved the lives of 23 comrades. For more information about John Chapman's amazing story and the details about this mission, visit danschillingbooks.com or your favorite book retailer to obtain a copy of the Chronicle of his life, Alone at Dawn.
Wow. 2 Medal of Honors, caught on this Predator drone. Man, much love and respect, Master Sergeant John Chapman and your family. What a warrior. What a far out. Lots in there. From my perspective, just the heart of this man, knowing that the chopper's coming in, knowing that the enemy's got these heavy weapons, RPGs, a whole bunch of firepower at their disposal, and they're coming in heavy and hard. Big target with the Delta team. I think they mentioned coming in on that chopper, and obviously it got hit. Thankfully, the skilled pilots, were able to make an emergency sort of crash landing, I suppose, or hard landing, and team members were able to get out. Sad that some of them were fatally wounded as they exited the chopper. But this guy, Master Sergeant John Chapman, leading the charge from once they landed when they first got there, up assaulting that first bunker, taking out that first bunker, being shot at least a couple of times by that stage, dropped, and his team members clearly thought that he was dead. Unfortunate that they didn't manage to go past him when they were exiting, when they made the decision that they needed to get off that particular feature. They called an air support, and so there's air support coming down on that ridge where Master Sergeant John Chapman still was. They have no idea what woke him up or what got him back in, but it's dawn. The light is up and he's fighting. Just incredible. Shot more than a dozen times, fragged probably more than that as well. And just staying in the fight. To the radio comms, his comms could be heard by another air controller, but they weren't getting any responses from him. So like they said, maybe either his equipment got damaged or maybe he was unable to draw any resources or energy to talk. Given the heart of this man and how hard he fought, so it must have just been damaged equipment, I'm guessing. At least two enemy come at him to try to take him out, and they're dealt with, and he ends them and is still able to carry on fighting. Then, as this guy spoke about in there, the option to either stay in cover in the bunker, wait for the chopper to land, hopefully it lands safely without getting hit and guys can come and get him, or expose himself because he knows the chopper is a big fat target. It's daylight now. The light is up, they can see, and they can see everything. So a big easy target, and makes a choice to just expose himself, draw their fire for as long as he could, in any way that he could, so that it takes attention away from the chopper, so that they can land and then they can get in amongst it and hopefully get him back. I'd love to know if they retrieved. I'm sure they retrieved his body, right? The chopper landed. There's more of them now. There's hopefully operators that are forward air controllers that are able to call in more air support and hopefully more accurate air support to take out those other pits and those other enemies, or bunkers and those other enemy. Hopefully enabling them to retrieve his body, and that of I think it was Neil Roberts. Sorry if I got the name wrong. Neil Roberts, who I think they originally went up there for. But what an absolute stud, legend, hero, this guy. Master Sergeant John Chapman, rest in peace, brother. 2 Medal of Honors. Far out. The first of its kind, like captured in terms of the drone footage and his actions. Man. Alone at Dawn. I've got to get that book. That'll be, I'm not a big book reader. Maybe an audio book might be better because I prefer listening to stuff and or watching things personally. But far out. Thank you very much. I just want to acknowledge and shout out the person who sent me this video. So this video came from at Noble Night House Hippotrax. I hope I've said that last part right. At Noble Night House Hippotrax, all one word. He's got in there that it was captured by the CIA drone. That he was sent in. So Master Sergeant John Chapman was an Air Force combat controller. He was sent in with a SEAL team to recover the body of a fallen Navy SEAL Petty Officer Neil Roberts, so that is the name, who was killed in action. And we heard that in the dark footage and stuff that they showed on the video. And then it says, and was accidentally abandoned upon a mountain in Afghanistan. So I think he's talking about Master Sergeant John Chapman, because we did hear that. They went past him, or they didn't go past him, so they didn't know. And unfortunately, he was left on that mountaintop. The drone captures his heroic and utterly selfless acts on that day, which we saw. So in the video description, it says March 4th, 2002. John Chapman, Air Force combat controller, along with a SEAL team, are attempting to rescue their lost teammate. You'll watch Chapman's stunning and heroic actions as he saves the lives of his entire SEAL team. So we saw that, their 6-man team, through his actions taking out their bunker. And then it says, and another 18 members of a quick reaction force to earn America's highest honor, the Medal of Honor. Wow. Man, rest in peace. Master Sergeant John Chapman, also Petty Officer Neil Roberts, who they went to try to retrieve. I'm assuming they retrieved the bodies back of these two warriors. And man, thank you very much, Noble Knight House Hippotrax, for the suggested video. There's a few others that you've sent as well. I will get to those. But what? Lost for words. Air Force Combat Controller. That's, something that comes to mind now. How are we going for time? Yeah. Something that comes to mind now. US Air Force it's probably, and I don't know, like I've never served in the US military, but it's probably not something in an Air Force controller or forward air controller, combat controller, which it's got here, may not be something that may typically be associated with actions like this, but far out, clearly it is, right? And this guy, Master Sergeant John Chapman, like I said, what an absolute warrior. Be going in there, leading the charge, assaulting the bunker. Like, here with my limited knowledge of the American Defence Force system and just thinking of New Zealand, Australia, and the differences, Army, Navy, Air Force, and having worked with some of the STS, Special Tactics Squadron, when we were deployed in Iraq, and them as the forward air controller members within our troops and within the squadron. Awesome guys, highly skilled, funny characters too. Shout out Clint. We had Clint in our team. I think he was probably even younger than me at that time. So yeah, shout out Clint we had for our team. I forget the name of the other two guys. One went to A Troop, another one went to B Troop. But the three of them, awesome dudes from the Special Tactics Squadron, STS, forward air controllers. At least I think I recall that those terms being used anyway. And I'm guessing it's sort of similar, equivalent. I assume they've got some type of, selection process to become and serve in those units, which is awesome. But they were great guys. And just seeing this, what an animal in terms of, in the most respectful, positive way imaginable, is what I mean by that term or that phrase in regards to Master Sergeant John Chapman. Just hearty warrior mindset, and just his actions speak for themselves. Yeah, man. Heavy on the heart though when you see that. As an operator, and I have no doubt more so for his team members, but even me here in little old Aotearoa, New Zealand, it weighs heavy on the heart and mind anyway. Seeing an individual with that much courage, that much mana, integrity, character, just taking everybody on, anything and everything on, and then the selfless act, exposing himself fully. The only thing that stopped him was being shot through the heart. He had been shot more than a dozen times. I think it said 16 times. Fragged who knows how many times. Ears would have been ringing, bodies losing blood. Yeah, just, man, you can't. No real words, no adequate words anyway that I can come up with to describe this man, this warrior. And sadly, he's no longer physically with us or in this world, but the legacy that this man has left behind will be remembered forever, and so it should. So anyway, thank you again, Noble Knight House Hippotrax. I think that's it. Appreciate you sending me this, and grateful for the warriors like Petty Officer Neil Roberts, who was KIA, and obviously warriors like Master Sergeant John Chapman, who unfortunately was KIA as well, and Medal of Honor recipient 2 times by the sounds of things, rightly so. Appreciate yous. massive respect to him and his family, to them and their families, and to those warriors that went in there and hopefully, I assume, retrieved the bodies of these men. That being said, team, again, thank you. Anyone that spent any time here, appreciate any time that you spend on my channel, with regards to these reactions. I learn a heck of a lot. There's a whole bunch of emotions and feelings that I feel and go through as I'm watching these things, and privileged to do the reactions that I do, and hopefully they help in some small way to those that might come across this channel. As always, anybody out there going through challenges, trials, struggles, heartache, hardship, man, I encourage you to keep turning up, to keep staying in the fight, to know that you're not alone, to know that the sun will shine again. As dark and as miserable as things may seem right now, as lonely and alone and as isolated as you may feel, it is temporary. Even though it may not feel like that, I understand. Even though it doesn't feel like that in the moment, it is temporary. The sun will shine again. Stay consistent and disciplined, and keep putting one foot in front of the other. Just keep turning up every day, as hard as it is. And I guarantee you, I promise you, good days are ahead. They're closer for you than you think. They're coming for you. So remember, go always a little further. Who dares wins. And until the next video, a big mana wave filled with my aroha, respect, appreciation, and gratitude for you all.